Mom. This is silly. My in-laws are over there and they're like, you know what? Thank fucking God she got a theater degree, you know? Worth every bit. It worked out. Isn't this, oh God, what a dream. What a true dream. There's 6 chandeliers here. Which I demanded. Okay. I said, listen, I'm Madeleine Smith. Have you fucking heard of me? There's got to be at least 6 chandeliers. There's so many of you guys here. This is like... This is shocking. This is like shocking. Like usually I'll have a birthday party and 2 people will come. So this is very shocking. And it's not all my mom's friends, I don't think. Are you all friends with Mary Jo Smith? Oh, okay. Like we know her from the library. We all are here for your mom who's a public librarian. Thank you. Which, like, honestly is fair. I'm Madeleine Smith. You guys are so amazing. This is really great. I talked to a producer and I said I want to record an album for Sirius XM, and they were like, hey, you know, you can do it here. And I was like, well, this is a perfect place because there's cheetah print on the walls. There's 6 chandeliers. The lobby, confusing, you know. There's like a corpse in the lobby, which is like the vibe I want to send, you know? I want people to be thinking about death when they come in here. That's what I want. And then I was nervous. I was nervous about it because I was like inviting people and I was like, I hope people come to this. And then Woody was like, maybe we'll have to beg some people. Because he is a good friend, you know? And then City Newspaper was like, it's a choice event. And I was like, Thank you, Daniel Kushner. Great writer. He called me effusive. I didn't have to look it up. I knew. Okay. I took AP English. Okay, I knew. I only looked it up for fun. I knew what it meant. He said effusive. He said she's going to talk about bisexuality, polyamory. And then I brought it up at Thanksgiving, and my mom was like, let me read this to people. There was like an 80-year-old woman hunched over, and we were like, bisexual. And she was like, well, that sounds great. And I was like, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really excited. This is really, really great. We are recording an album. I brought out my notebook. Hopefully I don't forget any jokes, but if I do, I'll just walk over there for a minute, talk amongst yourselves. Everything's fine. I'm in New York City now where you're only allowed to do 2 minutes every night. So a whole 45, I don't know. I really don't know, but it's going to be good. It's going to be good. We're all in this together. I love you guys so much. This is like really, really, I like want to cry, but it wouldn't be good for the recording. So I'm really good at shoving my emotions down, so it's going to be fine. I have been traveling a lot this year. I've been doing stand-up comedy now for over 6 years. Really, thank you. Oh my God, thank you, yes. A commitment if ever there was one. I have committed to making no money, thank you. Everyone's proud, thank you. I have been traveling on the road a lot recently doing stand-up comedy because that's kind of what you have to do. And I was traveling on the road with a male comedian. Yes, they do exist. I know, shocking, right? Yeah! All right, we're gonna edit that out. I'm so glad you're here, but also so upset that you're here, you know? I'm so glad you're here, but you're right in the front, and it's bad, okay. I was traveling on the road with a male comedian, and we were on the road together out in the Midwest for weeks, and things were starting to get kind of like uncomfortable. And he turned to me at one point and he was like, listen, Madeleine, I think you're funny, I think you're whatever, but if you were my wife, which already, bold assumption. He said, if you were my wife, I would never allow this. I would never allow you to be traveling on the road with a man. I know, right? Perfect noise, thank you. Perfect vomit, thank you. And I said, that's so funny. I said, because if you were my husband, I would kill myself. Thank you. Elizabeth Cady Stan wrote that joke for me. Thank you. I made sure I addressed him as mother for the rest of the trip. And my husband did sign my permission slip for me to be here tonight. But he said, only if you, Madelein, keep paying the rent. He allowed it, which was very kind of him. I do have a husband, and he's actually a sound engineer. He's recording the show, which is great. Thank you. I will not be paying him. He will not be paid for his time. Okay. I will continue to pay the rent, though, so, like, we're good, right? I bought him that Dogtown beanie, okay? Everything's... He's like, I didn't come here for this. I came here to make a goddamn album. He is recording. It's really great. He's great. I love him so much. We've been married for almost 5 years. We're pretty loosey-goosey, you know? We're in an open relation. Listen, you know how it is. Thanks for nodding. We're in an open relation, which, that means sometimes we like to get a little wild. And we had a talk. Before we got married, we had a talk. And he was like, Madelein, I love you. I respect you. But I know that you are a goose on the loose. Thank you so much. You started to clap before I said it. The goose. That's the goose. Yeah, that's me. Thank you. He said, I know that you're a goose on the loose. And he said, if you want to go around and have sex with other people sometimes, that's okay with me. And I said, thank you so much, because I was going to do it. I was going to do it anyway. I already made all the profiles on her, you know? Has anyone ever used that lesbian date? Oh, yeah, her? Has anyone used it? You're clapping, but then you got scared. You were like, I'm the only gay person here. This is a very rowdy crowd. It's not a good app. I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, so I was like, all right, listen, I'll do whatever I want. Okay, we're wild. We're getting a little loosey. I was out on the town in New York City. Let me tell you, a lot of mattresses on the floor, okay? A lot of copies of Catcher in the Rye, all right? A lot of infinite jest. I'm going to finish it eventually. Okay, Brian. I'm sure you will. Don't lose my number. I'm so proud. And then I was like, listen, maybe we should do something like a little more fun. Maybe I should like try it out with ladies, because I am bisexual, as you guys already knew by this like weird Elizabethan Hot Topic outfit. You were like, we get it, bitch. You go to the Renaissance Festival, right? Polyamory, we get it. Okay, we get it. But I had a long dry spell because I hadn't really been with ladies since college, because I went to school for musical theater. So that's all it needs. Thank you. Just one woo. Thank you. When you go to school for musical theater, legally, you have to be a little bit gay. You can't, it's just like part of the curriculum, You just go in and you're like, 525 and 600 finger blasts. And that is your thesis. You graduate cum laude. That's what I did. But I was very nervous because in college, everyone's drunk and everyone's bi-curious, but then you go out into the world and everyone's like, wasn't that a fun phase? And you're like, yeah. Totally. Yeah, it was a phase, Jan. I agree. And then it's weird, you don't know what to do. And I didn't know how to approach a woman, especially now, because I don't want to ever be creepy towards women, because I've had men be creepy towards me, and that's always uncomfortable. So I never want to do that. And I also don't really drink very much anymore, so I have to go up to a woman in a bar sober, which already horrifying concept, not good. And then I have to go up, not be creepy, also be cool. And I get so scared. I feel like I'm just going to go up and be like, Madame, would you care to be finger blast by me? No. Please. No, my husband, don't worry about him. He shan't be participating. But you will hear him breathing very heavily from behind this curtain. I think that joke was punctuated by the fact that a man had to leave. He's like, I didn't sign up for this. That was my husband. No, I'm just kidding. What if that was my husband? He's 85. He's 85 years old. I didn't want to do that. And then I kind of got back out there. I was like, I slept with a woman. It's, you can do it. We can all do it. We can all figure it out. We can all figure it out. We'll all get to it. But the first lady that I hooked up with, I stayed over at her apartment, and I woke up in the morning, and she had packed me a lunch. The lesbians in the back are like, Of course she did. Did she include the Katie Lang album too? Which I'm not trying, it's so sweet of her, so sweet. I wish that she did include Bend It Like Beckham on DVD, but I was like, this is the gayest thing that a person has ever done. And I don't mean to stereotype, I really don't, but I feel like if I were to stay over at a straight man's house, and like, my husband has packed me a lunch because legally he has to, but for a hookup type situation, if I were to stay at a straight man's apartment and wake up in the morning, I feel like he would just be like, if you're thirsty, there's some sriracha in the fridge. I have some sriracha. No, I didn't put pillowcases on the bed. I didn't know a duchess was coming over. Jesus Christ, I don't have pillowcases, but I do have 2 separate Clockwork Orange posters that you can stare at. Right? Is that painting with too broad a brush? Has anyone here ever seen a straight man's apartment before? If it's not Clockwork Orange, it's Scarface, right? It's bad. It's really bad. But now I've said all that about being a little goosey on the loosey, and I have to tell you, I'm glad that you're back. Thank you. Thanks for coming back. I have to tell you that I really do love to be married. I really do love my husband. I think it's great if you can marry like a best friend, because then you can always be together through life's hardships, and they can help you with things that you don't know how to do. For example, I know this is bad as a strong feminist woman, but I don't know what to do with cars. Like, I don't understand cars. I don't know what to do when a car breaks down. And I know as a strong, independent woman, I should just like rip the tire off, fully with my teeth or labia. I don't know. But I don't know how to do that. And my car broke down, you guys, a couple of years ago. I'd only been doing comedy for a little bit, and I did a gig in a little town called North Tonawanda. Why are you wooing? Don't do that. Why would you woo? Are you guys from there? Were you from there? No, you're just wooing you're just like, you've heard of it, and you're, okay, all right. Don't ever clap for that town again. I'm so sorry if anyone's from there. It's really a great, I mean, let me tell you. It's a great place. I did a show there. I looked out in the audience. Nobody had any teeth, you know? Which, listen, a tooth fell out of my head this year, so I'm not trying to be classist, but I'm just saying... I'm just saying, it was that kind of a town. It wasn't like a good town, you know? I was like, I don't want to be stranded here, and I did a show there, and my car broke down. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But in my car was my husband and two of his friends, and they were all very, very drunk. Right? Have you guys ever been in an emergency with drunk, straight, heterosexual men? Because, oh my God, it's a big opportunity for them, you know? They're like, okay, all right, we'll teach you. We learned about this, all right? We learned about this in man school, okay? Cars, I get it, okay? I think it's your battery, your alternator, your carburetor. I will stick my dick in it. I'll just put my penis in. It's good. Don't worry, little lady. Okay, Tim. We got this. And they said, Madelein, put it into neutral. We'll push it, which is like a normal thing. So I said, okay. And I put it into neutral, and they did, you guys. They did. They pushed it into another person's car. So funny how men literally rule the world, you know? They control everything, and they pushed it into another person's car. And I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. No worries. I'll just go to a car repair shop. And when I went, though, I remembered something about myself, which is that once again, I am a comedian, and once again, I have no money. So I wasn't sure what to do, because they were like, okay, it's going to be $700. Right, I know. And I was like, well, this Ford Focus is worth $35. So maybe we could work out some kind of a deal, you know? And I didn't know what to do. And I have any ladies ever done this where you try to be like charming and stupid? Have anyone? No, okay, everyone has self-respect. Oh, okay, no. Some clapping? So anyone, have you done this before? Yes, okay, good. Thank you. That makes me feel better, because I don't want to be the one to destroy the female population. But I didn't know what to do, so I was like, oh dear. And I became like a 1940s housewife character, like, oh, hey, my titties are out. Oh dear, boys. Oh, well, I don't know anything about automobiles. Well, all I know about is baking pies and love making with my mouth. Could someone help me? And they were like, ma'am, don't ever do that again. Put your mouth away. And they knocked the price down for me because they were scared, so it was good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is so funny. I feel like when you're recording a special or something, it's like you guys are being way nicer than most people would be. You're like, let's just clap for. I really like that. Did someone force you? Did someone tell you that you had to do that, or are you just genuinely nice people? Oh, okay. All right, good. I thought Woody like came out here with a gun and he was like, start the show. I do love to be married. The thing that's hard though about when you get married is that like there's a very natural progression of things, I think, in life. And I think most people think when you get married, what do people think after that, right? Do you guys know what the next step? Exactly. Yes, exactly. Baby, right? Exactly. Babies. And you're like, not for me. Those are sticky. They're sticky. Why do they feel like honey? I don't like it. Have you ever held hands with like a little kid and you're like, do, 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 and you're like, this feels like they dipped it in honey and dog hair, you know? Why are they so disgusting? Like, I don't know. But that's what everybody asks. Everyone's like, when are you going to have kids? When are you going to have kids? And then except you can't just say, I'd rather have money, you know? Like, people are like, why are you heartless? You're like, I don't know. I just don't want them. And, but the nice thing is my sister-in-law has kids, which is so great. I was so happy when she had kids because they're so cute. I love them so much. And also, great life hack because then people stop asking you, right? They're like, she did it. You're fine. You're fine. It was probably not going to happen for you anyway, so it's fine. And when we first went to see the baby, when my nephew was born, I was so excited. I was so happy when we were going into the hospital. And then, do you remember? I'm looking at my mother-in-law. I don't know if you remember what you said to me, but it was a really nice thing. She said, we were about to go in, and my mother-in-law said, hey, Madeleine, before we go into the room, just be appropriate. Do you remember? She's like, I never. Listen, you did. Just kidding. At least in my mind, you did. She said, just be appropriate. And I loved that because I was like, what do you think I'm going to do? Like, do you think I'm just going to like kick in the door and be like, Megan, how is your vagina? Do you need me to spray something on it for you? Which I did ask her that, but like such an appropriate familial kind of a way, you know? And she did such a good job. She had a 10.5-pound baby and like, I know. I don't think she's here, but we'll send her this recording and it will never heal her pain, but that's crazy. Can you imagine? And I don't think that she didn't have drugs or anything. She just did it. One time I hurt my hand. And for 3 weeks, I was like, it's kind of swollen. It's a little swollen. Like, can you imagine having a tenant? I just can't. I don't know. I don't know if I could do it. I thought about adopting kids, but that, once again, that takes money. So I don't know. I'm just going to hang out with other people's kids. I spend a lot of time hanging out with other people's kids. I spend a lot of time as a nanny because, once again, as I said, I have a theater degree. So that's what you can do. You can be a nanny or a prostitute, either. Sex worker, I'm so sorry. And sex workers are doing much better than nannies, as we know, making a lot more money. But I was a nanny. I worked as a nanny for a long time, and I really do like nannying. I think it's really fun because I think, well, first off, you're paid to be there. Not your kids, so it's like not as much pressure. And kids are very funny. Like they say a lot of wild things to you. Like the little girl that I used to babysit for, when I had to leave Rochester, I was moving to New York City, and I was like, I'm really going to miss you. I'm going to miss you so much. And we were hugging, and we were like crying. And then as we were hugging, this little 4-year-old girl, she started like rubbing my legs a lot. And she was like, which was disturbing, to say the least. And I was like, what's up, Lily? And she was like, your legs are nice and hairy. Then she said, just like my dad. And I was like, oh, no! Don't compare me to a 40-year-old man. As I said, I am married, so never shave. Never shave my leg. It's in the contract. Everything's fine. The little boy, he was really, really funny when I was nannying for him. He was really, really funny. He was 2 years old, and he got really into the idea of telling jokes. And he would tell me knock-knock jokes, which I don't know if you guys have ever heard a knock-knock joke from a 2-year-old, but so good. So good, because their minds don't work. So everything they say is lunacy. And I had this really crazy, funny experience experience. He was so funny and I loved him. But sometimes I was like, get away from me. So one time he was supposed to be taking a nap and I was like, now's my time to relax. And I was trying to leave the room and I was like tiptoeing out and he popped up in the dark. And he was like, Madeleine! And I was like, what? And then he said, knock, knock. And I was like, okay, who's there? And then he said, in a whisper, he said, teeth. Teeth. Oh no. No. And I said, teeth? Teeth who? No, I had my hands on the phone. I was ready to dial 911. Seems bad. And then his punchline was, he leaned in very close to me and he licked his finger. I know. This is just what happened. I don't know. This happened to me. This is what I did for $15 an hour, okay? He licked his finger and he touched my cheek. And he whispered, orange, you glad? Wait, you gotta hear the whole thing. It's better, it gets more upsetting. He said, orange, you glad? I didn't say Madeleine. Oh no. And I said, this is the world's tiniest serial killer. But he grew up to be Malcolm Whitfield. No, I'm just kidding. What if it was? Malcolm's 15. No, but I do think he has a future in comedy because he was touching women inappropriately. So. Hey, you remember all those people that we canceled? You're selling out a lot of the stadiums. But we were also here. We sold out this, so it's fine. I never touched a woman inappropriately, so it's fine. We're good, okay? Listen, believe me, I didn't, okay? Don't look at me like that. I didn't. I'm really glad you guys are here. This is very cool. This is very, very cool. This is like a really cool thing because I was reading, recently I was reading a statistic about comedy clubs. And they said that usually they only have, throughout the whole year, only 16% of their headliners are women. So this is cool. This is cool. But this is the perfect spot for it because there's a corpse out front. So they're like, we'll let a woman come in here. All right, okay, but only if we have all the chandeliers turned on. I used to live in a very, very small. I still live in a small apartment, but I used to live in a really small apartment. Like when my husband and I were first married, we lived in a studio apartment together, and we put our bed in the closet. So it was great. Someone came over and they were like, "This is a fire hazard," and I was like, "Okay." Don't worry about it. It's fine. So we lived in this very, very small apartment together. And my husband was like, but yeah, this kind of sucks. But like the building was nice. And we had like a fitness center, like a small fitness center in the basement. And he was like, that's nice. Now you can cancel your gym membership. And I was like, no, I can't. Because at the gym is where we do Zumba. Has anyone in here ever gone to a Zumba class before? Right? Yeah. Yes, Mom, I know. I know. A lot of moms, especially around here, you get a lot of Pittsford moms, right? Like a lot of Lindas, They're like, oh, Latin grooves. And you're like, it's not for you. It's not for you, Linda. She's like, I'm fun, It's like a fun mom. It's a fun mom. So I was like, I liked Zumba class. I thought it was really fun. And the best thing about when I lived here and I went to Zumba class was that my Zumba instructor was like a real spitfire of an old lady. Like she came in and she had like a sassy attitude. And she would always come in and be like, ladies, number one rule of Zumba. Which already you're like, Susan, okay. All right, maybe calm down, okay. Number one rule of Zumba, ladies. What happens at Zumba stays at Zumba. I was always like, what? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen at Zumba, you know? Are we all gonna join together and kill a man? Are we gonna be beheading a man at Zumba? Because first things first, sure, whatever, I don't care. But there are some Chinese women in this class who don't speak English. And they will be very confused. Also, I don't think it's gonna stay at Zumba. I think word will spread around the greater Rochester area. Especially since the exercise class, there was like a glass door. So we would be like going by, giving a tour. They're like, oh, there's Zumba. They've killed another man. Okay. Those Pittsburgh housewives love it, you know? Like, and another thing about living in a small apartment was that when you live with someone, like a significant other in a small apartment, you can't really like hide the disgusting things about yourself. Like, have you guys ever experienced this? Like, you're like, I don't want to see, I don't want, but you have no choice. You're like, well, I only have $600, so I don't know. They're going to see. And one time I had a really weird experience. This was before my husband and I were married. We lived in a very small apartment, and I was going to take a shower, as one does. And I took off my shirt, as one does. And he was very close to me in the other room. And I looked down and I saw that I had an 8-inch long boob hair just sprouting forth, you know. And I was like, what do I do? Because as you guys know from women's magazines, you're not supposed to have any hair on your body or else a man will never love you. So I was like, the wedding's off, you know, it's canceled. I was afraid. I was very afraid. And it was getting closer to our wedding time. So I had been reading a lot of like magazines like that. And I don't know if anyone in here, do we have any married couples in here right now? Yes. Oh, that's amazing. Yes. Very nice. You guys, that's very nice. Very nice. Very wonderful. Wonderful. You were very enthusiastic about it, which is surprising. Thank you. Usually there's like one person clapping and they're looking sadly over at their significant other who is looking at their phone, you know? Like, Dave. She was talking to us. It's very upsetting. So you guys know, though, brides, I think especially if you're in a heterosexual marriage, you guys know brides, it's very stressful. It's very stressful for you because there's a whole industry built on making you feel bad about your body. And it goes by the name of TLC. Have you guys seen their shows? TLC has a show. They used to have a show called Bridalplasty, where they would be like, listen, I know he said he loved you for that fucking gross face, but we're gonna cut that face off and sew on a new face. And then you like show up the day of the wedding and you're like, it's me. And then he loves you more. I remember before I got married, my old coworker one time, I said I was going to work out after work. And she said, are you trying to lose weight for your wedding? And I was like, that's so funny, Erin. I was actually going to lose all my body weight and just be like a skeleton that's dragged down the aisle. And I'll be like, Phil, how do I look now? Like, and that's what they tell women to do, right? Like that's basically, has anyone else experienced this? Yeah, right? That's what they tell you. Don't do it. No one cares. You know what? You'll show up and your husband will just be like, great. You didn't vomit right on yourself, so you did it over there, which is good. Did you? My friend saw it. It was great. So anyway, so I looked down. Listen, I had a boob hair. Okay, let's get back to where we were before. I had a boob hair. I looked down. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want my husband to leave me. So time was of the essence. I didn't have time to tweeze it off. I decided what I was going to do is just bite it off. She can do that. You can do. If you have boobs that are bigger than a D, you can do that. You just go. So I did. I bit it off. I know. Listen. All right. Settle down, sir. What? Yeah, okay, all right. This is my truth. I bit it off, and I spit it in a garbage can next to me. And he didn't look. He didn't turn around. He didn't see, which is good. But I was thinking, like, what if he had, you know? What if he had, like, spun around right at that moment? He's like, we make, like, direct eye contact. I'm holding the boob hair betwixt my teeth. And we just look at each other. And I'm like, welcome. Welcome to eternity. I hope you like commitment. Like, that'd be so romantic. That'd be so romantic. Before I moved to New York City, it's very expensive. Have you heard? Have you heard the good word? You move down there and you pay $2,000 a month to live in a pile of trash. So, thank you. Woo! That's how I feel every day. So you have to save up a lot of money. So before I moved down there for like a year, I was living at home with my family, which was great because they're so cool. They're very funny. I love them. Very liberal. They're very liberal. They're so liberal that sometimes it's upsetting to me. My mom is laughing because she's thinking of the 40,000 times since the last election that she has told me that Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. I fucking know she did. You guys are like, she did. I know. My mom tells it to me like as if I'm like, no. Does this look like a Trump supporter to you? Like my cleavage is like fully out. Like, no, let's not get ridiculous. But they're very liberal. They're very, very liberal. And I love that about them. But they're like very open about things, which is great, obviously. Listen, clearly. But sometimes they're so open. One time, all right, okay, wait for it. It gets better as it continues. One time, I was going to a sex toy party with my friend because that's how women in their 20s hang out. It's how we like interact. Yeah. So I was going to the sex toy party with my friend, and my dad came out, and he was like, Madelein, wait, come back. And I was like, oh no. And I was like, what? And he said, hey, all right, listen, if it's not too weird. I knew it was gonna be too weird. He goes, if it's not too weird, can you just pick up some like old lady lube for your mother? I'm sorry. He's very supportive. He's here. It's over there. He's like, ah! He goes, could you just pick up some old lady lube for your mother and I will pay you back, okay? I said, it's not really so much the monetary compensation that I feel worried about. It's more the fact that you said old lady lube. As if that was a brand of lube that I could buy, you know? As if that was how I could walk into the store and be like, please, your best old lady lube. Oh, it's just castor oil? Okay, I'm sorry. But I did. I picked it up and he paid me back. I feel very lucky to have a family that's like that. Like, I feel like a lot of people don't feel comfortable talking about those kind of things with their family, and I feel really lucky to have that. But sometimes, as I said, it does lead to situations like that, and then sometimes you're like, I gotta do an album recording, and I hope my dad is sitting really close to this day. There was another time, there's just one more, and then I'll just do one more, and then there'll be back to the embarrassment of me. But there's just one more, and I think this one's pretty good, so I just want to tell you real quick. There's another time where my family and I, my mom, my brother, we went to Florida, and my dad was alone, and he was like, while you were gone, I tried to watch that porn DVD that you left. Which, first off, joke's on me. Okay, why did I have a porn DVD? As if I was from 1980, like, you gotta pop it in the DVD player. And then I remembered I did have a porn DVD that I brought back from college because my friend Alex, he used to just play it at parties, you know, like in the background. Like, what's that? Oh, great. I love when Alex puts that on. It was called A-OK. And we don't have to be graphic, but I'm sure you can assume what it was about, you know? A-OK. And my dad said, he said, I tried to watch it, and he was like, but I turned it off. I said, why? And he said, to be honest, the noises, they were really scaring the dog. R.I.P. to our dog. They were really scaring the dog. And he said also, there was a lot of butt stuff. And I was like, Dad, this movie is called A-OK. I don't know if you thought it was like a period piece, like Pride and Prejudice. But the cover is a woman holding her butthole open. So why you were surprised, I don't know, but I appreciate it. We have an open dialogue. It's almost time for us to be done, I think. But before we are, I'll tell you 2 more things, and then we'll be done. And this is really, really great. This is really, really, really great. And if tomorrow I have to drive back in a rental car, and if the winter storm advisory kills me, I'm glad that we did this. I don't want to die. I have so much life, but at least we did this. You know, this was my goal for 2019. We did it, and I'm really, really happy. So thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that to be like applaud, but I was just saying, just for me, for myself, I'll look back on this and I'll be happy. For a minute, and then I'll be like, what next? I've been living, like I said, down by New York City for like 2 years now, and I really miss Rochester because Rochester, much cheaper. Oh, and that woman said it was grim and depressing, which, first off, she's from Long Island, so like, calm the fuck down, Maureen. Like, oh, I know. Oh. It's so dumb. I read that article, and she was like, people are so excited about a grocery store. I was like, because it's the best thing that's ever happened. It's the best thing that's ever happened to Brooklyn. It is. I went there on like the opening day, and people were like, oh my God. Like, it was amazing. But New York City people love to be that way, especially people who aren't from New York City, but they moved to New York City and they gentrified Brooklyn, and then they're always like, can you believe it? People are so excited about a grocery store. And you're like, you've never felt joy, you know? You've never had an orgasm. I don't know. Like, why are you upset? I don't know. Anyway, someone send this to her. I tweeted at her. Meteorologist Marty Snyder retweeted it. So thank you. Yes. Thank you. No, so stupid. So stupid. That was dumb. But I love Rochester so much. And I do miss being up here because I also think I was like hotter in Rochester. I think I was like a Rochester 7, you know, but in New York City, -7. Which I'm not, I love myself. Listen, I'm great. But I noticed it because like I moved to New York City and I was worried about street harassment because that's like a big thing. Everyone's like, oh, catcalling is so bad. And then I moved there and no one for 8 months said anything to me. And I was like, oh no. I wore my best Forever 21 frock today. I thought I would certainly find a suitor, so I was thinking that, and I was walking to the train, and I was like, man, no one ever says anything to me. And then I guess as if a gift that God was trying to send me, a man across the street, he said, hey, That looks like an ass I'd love to eat. And I ran away, I was upset, I was scared, I ran away. And then later that night, I was on stage at a comedy club in New York City, and I said, this man said this to me today. And then a man in the front row said, well, how was it? Because in his mind, I turned around in the street and I was like, do it now. Do it. I dare you. I don't have anywhere to be. I was like, no, I ran away. And that happened to me up here in Rochester, New York. Sometimes I would get catcalled. Like, you guys are all Rochesterians, I think, so like the areas that are bad. Like when you're out on like East and Alexander at like 3 a.m., right? And you're waiting for your friend, and she's dancing inside, and she's throwing up, but just like a little tiny... She's like dancing, but there's like just a little trickle. I know. It's horrible. And it's always your friend Erica, It's always Erica with a K, She's like, I just want to dance. You're like, Erica, please. And that happened to me. I was outside. I was waiting for Erica to get her life figured out. And I was approached by a gentleman, a really, really nice guy, a young squire. He came up to me and he said, hey, do you want to watch me put my dick on things? And I said, no, hablo inglés. No, that wasn't my plan. No. And he said, I'm going to put my dick on everything. And he did this motion. I know we're recording an album, but he did a circle like this with his hand, which I think he was trying to show the planet Earth. He was like, I'm going to put my dick on the whole world. I'm going to put my dick on everything. And he did this circular motion. And then he said, starting with your face. And I was like, my porcelain cheek? Well, don't I feel like the belle of the ball? Oh, how romantic. And I didn't know what to do. I was very scared, so I started to walk away. And then that made him mad. And he went over to his friend who was like a foot away. He's like, you know what? It's fine. She's fat. She's way too fat. She's too fat. He said I was too fat. I know. And I was like, I didn't realize that there was a weight requirement for a penis on your face. Oh, but I'm too fat to ride the ride. Like, I'm really gonna feel bad about this later tonight. Like, I was like, no, I'm gonna talk about this for 6 years to thousands of people, and then it's gonna be on the radio. You fucking idiot! You idiot! I'll sell this tape to Amazon Prime. I don't care. I wish I knew his name, because I would say his full name, because I hate him. I hate him so much. I hate that guy so much. But also, what a loser. And he was really short too. He was really short. And I'm not saying that to be mean against short guys, because I have nothing against them, and I've slept with short guys. But like, this guy was really fucking short. So he went over to his friend, he said all that shit, and then his friend came up to me, because you know how it is when you're out with your bra, He came up to me, and he was like, hey, bitch. And I said, thank you. I said, thank you, that is my Christian name. Madelein Bitch Smith. He said, hey, bitch. And then he said, learn to take a compliment. And I'm not lying. That's really what he said. He really said, learn to take a compliment. As if I just don't understand what compliments are, And I was thinking about that. I was like, learn to take a compliment. Okay. And I was like, okay, so if I was going off of his model for what a compliment is, right? Okay, this is how you are a good Christian. If I was doing that, I would be like, thank you for coming to the show, Dennis. Love you. Thank you for leaving in the middle of a punchline. Dennis, you're so great. Love you so much. Do you mind if I place just one labia against your cheek? Are you okay? He's nodding. He's fine. He's fine. Listen, he loves it. Just the one that's longer than the other one. Do you mind if I just... Is it cool? Okay, thank you. He knows how to take a compliment, okay? That's how you give one. The last thing that I'll tell you is that I went to school for musical theater, as we already discussed, and then when I graduated, I was much chagrined to realize that they were not hiring at the musical theater factory. Which sucks, because I thought that it was a union job, you know? And I didn't know what to do. It was really hard. It is hard. If you're following a creative dream, like, be ready, because you will not have dental insurance. But I learned to do a couple things there, though, and I think that my parents' and grandma's money was well spent. I don't know if they agree, but I like. Thank you. Yeah. I learned to do a couple things there. And this is one thing that I learned to do. And you know what sucks is I've been doing this joke for like a super long time. And then somebody did it on RuPaul's Drag Race. And then this gay comic was like, hey, Madelein, you should stop doing that joke. And I was like, I never will. I was like, so I'll still do it for you now. If you heard it on RuPaul's Drag Race, listen, check the receipts. I did it 8 years ago. Okay. I'm just not famous. Okay. This is the thing that I learned to do at SUNY Fredonia. I learned to do impression of Nicki Minaj, the rapper, who you guys heard before. But I would do her raps, but I would do it as Mary Poppins, Julie Andrews. So thank you, Dennis. I'll do it for you now, and then we'll all leave, and it's gonna be great. Okay, so this is it. This is the very beginning of Super Bass. Great song, as covered by Julie Andrews. This is how it goes. It goes, this one is for the boys with the booming system. Top-down AC with a cooling system. When he come up in the club, he be blazing up. He got stacks on deck like he saving up. Any ill, he real. He might cut a deal. He pop bottles in together, rack and a bill. He cold, he dope, he might sell coke. He always in the air, but he never fly coach. He a motherfucking trip, sailor of the ship. When he make a trip, kiss him on the lip. That's the kind of dude I was looking for. And yes, you get smacked if you looking, ho. Thank you very much. Wait a second. Let's take a picture. Together. Let's take a picture together. Okay. Now wait, how do we do it? How do we do a picture? How do we do our picture? Let's do it. Okay. Is this it? We did it. Now everybody throw your hands up and cheer. Now wait. We'll do a video, and you guys say that this was sold out, okay? Say, it was sold out, bitch. They don't lie, it's true. And then I'm gonna post that on my Instagram, and everyone's gonna be like, oh my God, Madelein, she did it. So this was really good, and this is like not very funny, but I just wanna say that this really means so much to me. Yeah, and I want to tell you guys something. And this year was like really shitty for me in a lot of ways because one of my best friends of 20 years passed away, and it really sucked. And I'm not trying to bring down the album, but I just want to tell you that. But they were always really proud of everything that I did, and I saw their mom today, and they were like, they were really proud of everything that you did, and I wish they were here, but they're not. So I was reading their notebook today, and they had written a poem, and I read the poem, and at the end of the poem it said, I think it's important to always take care of each other. So I just want you guys to remember that, and that was my friend Elle said that. So anyway, I'm Madeleine Smith. Thank you guys.